You by Noland Pruitt from Apple Music.
Alexa, turn the volume all the way up. Your love is unfailing. Your grace so amazing. Your power breaks every fetter. Your mercy lasts forever. Your power, your mercy, no one can be like you do. Lord, you are my God. I belong to you. Lord, you are my God. What's up, everybody? Y'all come on in, come on in, come on in. It's Thursday night. It's Real Talk with your boy Noland Pruitt time. We get ready to get this thing started, okay? Of course, y'all know who that is in the background. I Belong to You by yours truly, Noland Pruitt. Shameless plug. If you have not downloaded that song, please go get that record. We get ready to get this thing started. Welcome, welcome. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday. Come on in, and you know my rule. Once you get in here, you got to hit that share button one time. Hit that share button. Don't be disobedient on the Thursday night. You hit that share button one time. Let everybody know that you rocking. Real Talk with Noland Pruitt is back. We've been in a sabbatical, COVID. I've been recording, but we're back. And the show that we got for you tonight, the Kings are in the building. The Kings are in the building. And I just want you to sit right there. Give us about 30 minutes of your time. Pick your feet up. You've had a long day. Come be recharged tonight with us. All right? All right? I see y'all. Y'all comment. Say your name when y'all come in here too. All right? Let us know that you're in the building. All right? Get ready to get started in a couple minutes. Y'all give me y'all time. Get situated. Hit that share button. And we get ready to get this thing cracking. All right? Got some amazing kings, amazing guests, black influential leaders with me tonight. I'm really excited. I don't say that a lot. I'm kind of excited. All right? And when y'all come in, let me know where y'all watching from. What city and what state that you guys are watching from. Of course, YouTube, to my YouTube viewers, it's on YouTube. This thing is streaming live on YouTube as well. Y'all come on in. You're watching Real Talk with your boy Noland Pruitt, okay? I think I'm about to get started in just a couple of minutes, all right? I belong to you. I belong to you. I wish you would declare. Alexa, pause music. Y'all know the rest. I ain't gonna keep playing. I belong to you. That was from your boy Noland Pruitt. If you have not got it yet, please. It's available on Tidal, Jay-Z, Tidal, Spotify, iTunes, wherever you can get it. You can even. No, I ain't gonna tell y'all that because y'all start streaming stuff for free. But you can even get it. I'm such a nice person, and I am so sent of the Lord that I would tell you that you can go to listen to it on YouTube. You can go. You ain't even got to spend no money if you don't want to. But if you want to sow, my pastor teaches it all the time that what you make happen for others, God will make happen for you. So if you want to sow just your $1.99, please go download I Belong to You. Guess what? It's Thursday night. And we here. It's Real Talk with your boy Noland Pruitt. I'm going ahead and get this show cracking. I'm excited. You can tell I'm excited. I brought my brim because tonight is Kentucky night. Now we got a guest. He's originally from St. Louis, and we'll count him in. But the Kentucky boys are in the building. So I brought my brim, my good old brim with me tonight because I'm excited. I'm just very, very excited. I hope you are having a blessed week thus far. And I hope you get refreshing, recharged, all that good stuff, okay? We get ready to have a good time. I'm getting ready to bring them in. I have no announcements. Real Talk is back. That's all I want to say. We're coming back with more shows. Of course, some shows what you can look forward to. We have... I would sing the theme song, but I forget the words all the time. But we have a guest, one of the superstars from the TV show, the 90s hits sitcom Family Matters. She will be my guest. She will be with me on my show. No, I didn't get Steve Urkel, but I got somebody as close to Steve Urkel as one of our fan favorites. They're going to be on my upcoming shows. I have politicians coming. Of course, the election is coming up. So I hope you guys listen. There are some states right now that you can early vote. You can go ahead and vote. And when you do early voting, you can go to any poll. It doesn't have to be your specific poll. You can go to any poll and vote early. So I hope you guys are doing that. But we got amazing shows coming up, and I'm just excited that Real Talk is back. We've been gone for a while, and I know y'all been missing me because I've been missing y'all. I see your comments. When's Real Talk coming back? When's Real? But we back. We back, and we in full effect. Okay, so I'm getting ready to bring on my first guest. I want you to meet these kings. I call them kings. I'm into this new thing now, where actually Karan Joseph taught me this. Joseph taught me this. He's an actor. Of course, you see him on Tyler Perry Plays. I interviewed him, and he was like, "No, man." He was like, "Your new name is King," and I was like, and I just love that word. So listen, do me a favor on Real Talk. If you got any men in your family, just I need you to speak prophetically over their life and call them King right now. I need you to just be like, "What's up, King? What's up? What's up?" Because a lot of times we say other things to each other, but it's time to start speaking life into one another. So I'm taking that King word and I'm running with it. When I see a black, beautiful, and she doesn't even have to be African-American, but I see my female friends, I'm saying, "What's up, Queen?" Because I'm letting them know what's on the inside of us, okay? And we serve the God of God. So, of course, we're royalty, all right? All right, I'm getting ready to bring on my first guest. He is originally from St. Louis. Of course, he's a celebrity stylist. But this man is not only a stylist, he is an entrepreneur. Anytime that you can have 2 stores in 2 major cities, in 2 major malls, you're doing the thing, all right? I got to bring on my boy, Jerron Lavelle, and we're going to talk about a little bit about his clothing line, and then we're going to bring on our next guest. Listen, we're getting ready to get this thing cracking. You're watching Real Talk with your boy, Noland Pruitt, all right? Let me see if the stylist is in the building.
Yo, what's going on?
What's good, man?
What's popping?
Y'all clap your virtual hands for stylist Jerron Lavelle in the building. I think I wore the hat for you. I think that's what it was.
You did. Wow.
Because you're doing the thing. Quickly, we're gonna bring on our other 2 guests because we get ready to have an amazing dialogue. But tell us about these stores, man. You landed 2 malls, major malls, where you got product that we can go get right now. So tell us a little bit about these stores and these malls.
So one of the stores is really well. The store in Compton Mall in Atlanta, Georgia is men and women.
Okay.
So what I did was when I used to style like Chris and Michelle style artists, they used to always reach out and people like, can I sing you this to put her on this? To fast forward, I was just like, I should just open up a one-stop shop. So the first store I ever opened was I had a beautician, a makeup artist, then I was the stylist, and then I moved from that to do the mall. So it's basically a high-end boutique. Women that's very classy and want to be fashionable, because a lot of these stores and boutiques, like, it's real cheap and it's like you pay it for one time. So it's basically before you come in and basically like all my clientele, mostly they going to weddings, it's just funerals, anywhere that's really, they going somewhere they really want to put on something really nice, they come and see me. So
I love it. And of course you're in St. Louis Gallery Mall. Or Galleria.
Galleria.
And
then Cumberland Mall.
So y'all go to these malls right now. I need you to, before we bring the other 2 amazing kings on the show, give us just some couple people you have worked with that you enjoy styling. You ain't styled me yet, but go ahead and add me to the list.
So you have one is Chrisette Michelle. I have worked with every artist on everyone who won Sunday Best Be Self for Jessica Reedy.
Okay.
I have worked with Mary. I have worked with Donna Lawrence singers. I work with a little bit of everybody. I can't think of everybody. Or Ernest Pugh. I can't think of everybody's name off the top of my head.
Uncle Ernest. Uncle Ernest likes, every time I said that you was coming on this thing, he has liked every post I've made about you coming on this show. So you must be Uncle Ernest's boy, okay? Because he shout out to Ernest P if you watching, or you will watch. We love you, man. All right, let's bring in our next guest. He listen, he is the pastor. He is my new friend, and I know we have to respect the man of God in his position, but I call him friend. Of course, he just took over the church in Evansville, Indiana, the New Hope Missionary Baptist Church. He's originally from Louisville. Kentucky's in the building. If y'all listen, y'all better show us some Kentucky love up in here tonight. He's in the building. He's an amazing guy. He's a member of Kappa Alpha Psi. But most of all, he's just a strong, anointed man of God with a genuine heart. And we're bringing under none other than Pastor J.C. Campbell's in the building.
Hello, everybody. Hello, my brothers. How are you all doing today? Hello, hello.
Awesome.
What's going on? Y'all clap them virtual hands. Listen. All the oil
God
is
bless
here.
you.
My
God bless
God,
you.
my God. Listen. There's an echo on my live. Okay, let me turn it down. Can you guys hear me good?
Yes.
Yeah, I can hear you. It's a slight echo, but I can still hear you.
Okay. Try to fix that. But let me say this, Pastor JC. Of course, you just took over the amazing position of being the senior pastor of New Hope Missionary Baptist Church.
Yes,
but
sir.
people don't really know that you are Louisville born and raised.
Born and raised. West Side is the best side. I know the next guest may disagree with me, but that's okay. But I was born and raised in Louisville, Kentucky. I've lived most of my life in Louisville. Family still in Louisville. My wife is from Louisville, so I just love my city. I love the people of Louisville, and I'm just grateful to be here in Evansville and give y'all some of that Louisville love. So I'm excited.
Come on now, give us some. And this man's a preaching machine. Come on, glory to be to the name. Listen, I'm so glad we're going to have a good time. The last but not least, this is I feel a little prophetic tonight. I speak a John Lewis. Of course, my father is running. Shameless plug. My father is the only African American back in Henderson, Kentucky, who's been elected 4 terms as a city councilman, city commissioner. And so he's getting ready to run again in November. So I'm sending love all the way to my pops, Robert Pruitt Sr. And people, a lot of people. Let me share something with my viewers. Y'all didn't know my first name is Robert. Noland is my middle name. Praise God. Don't tell nobody. Only my close friends know that. So y'all been blessed tonight. So Robert Pruitt Sr., we send you love from my brothers, for these kings, and let's go vote in November. But I say that to say this: I speak of John Lewis, Martin Luther King, because this man is really walking in the vein in Louisville.
Yes,
Anytime your pastor can walk in the streets and not fear being arrested and all that good stuff, and still cover you inside the building, this is somebody that we have to be on the watch for. He's an amazing pastor of the Kingdom Fellowship. Kingdom, is it Kingdom? I'm gonna mess it up.
Kingdom Fellowship.
Kingdom Fellowship. Right?
Yes, sir.
Kingdom Fellowship Church in Louisville, Kentucky. We got a backstory to that, and we're going to share that backstory because I used to try to run and get to that church every chance I can when I was in college. But let's introduce none other than Pastor Timothy Finley's in the building.
Sir.
Come on, production. Come on, production.
There you go.
What's going on, my brother?
What's going on?
Glad to be here, man.
Good. I'm glad. Listen, his hoodie, he's already decked out. He got the glasses on.
I gotta say, my brother, JC, New Birth for Life.
I knew you was gonna say that. I knew you was gonna go there. It's all good.
Timothy, I thought you was from Shively this whole time.
Nah, New Birth. No. New Birth, born and raised.
Listen, shout out. Listen, we have to just talk a little bit. Of course, I want to do, and we're get ready to do an icebreaker, and then we'll get ready to get into these topics. I'm not gonna hold them long, but y'all share. Listen, y'all favorites is on my show right now. Y'all need to hit that share button one time and let somebody know. And all the members, y'all better be pastors. If you don't see your member on tonight, they got to read the Bible from the beginning to the end in front of everybody. And come Sunday, okay, I don't know, but anyway, so listen, we need everybody to come on and share because your pastor's on here. But let me say this too, we're getting ready to get into the climate, of course, what's going on, and it's a God-ordained climate. I just say it's a God-ordained climate. What's going on now with the social injustice, Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, but to see our home state on the news does me proud. And when I look on the news, and not so much because of the situation, but to see us coming together and fighting for a cause. I mean, me coming from Kentucky, I never thought that. I just thought that we was going to be chilling our whole lives. But now I see that we got some turn up. And when it comes to the right thing, we got some turn up in us. And to see you, Pastor Timothy, on the front lines doing what you're doing, I commend you, sir. I'm grateful. Everybody, I know we're all grateful. But give us a little bit, and of course, Pastor JC, you can tune in as well. Coming from Louisville, what does that mean to you right now to be on the front lines, still on the front lines during this situation?
Well, I think what's happening here in Louisville with Breonna Taylor and the other injustices that have taken place even since then, this has provided an opportunity for Christians, for church folk, to realize that our ethic, our macro ethic, ought to be centered around justice. That it is not church and then everything else, but really, as disciples, this is what we're supposed to do. This is what we're supposed to stand up for. So it's been good being embraced by the street, but I want to see more of us, leaving those four walls, and that's really the tone, tenor, the motivation behind what I'm doing. But it's been here in Louisville, it's been a difficult time. It's been a very difficult time with what's happening, what's continuing to happen, and there seems to be a slow trickle of information that's coming out. But we're continue to push, continue to protest, continue to stand up. I was at an event tonight that we put on around voter education, because there's more than just protest. There's got to be that same intensity taken to the polls. So, it's been interesting, it's been difficult, but like you said, we are seeing us come together like I've never seen before.
Exactly. Let me do this, panelists, and thank you so much for that, Pastor Timothy. Guys, if you can mute the other device, it won't be an echo when you speak, I guess. So I know a lot of us, we have two devices, so if we can mute that other device, we can hear you guys without the echo. So see if maybe that's the what's going on here, okay? All right, let's get cracking. Okay, so that should probably take care of that echo, guys, because we definitely want to hear what these men of God have to say. And these influential kings. Did y'all hear what I said about the kings earlier?
Yeah.
That really blessed me. I'm probably the slowest one to catch on to that. But I was like, king, I like that. All right, so I'm just calling everybody king. I'm probably gonna stop after a while. But I'm just calling everybody king and queen that I encounter. I think that's a blessing. All right, so let's do an icebreaker, and we're gonna get ready to get cracking. So the icebreaker, listen, I need everybody, you can jump in when you fit in, but what was the first record, it depends on how old you are, album, the first song you downloaded? Just think back to that first artist that you purchased. What was the first artist, the first song that you purchased? We start with Pastor JC, because he's really thinking.
I honestly think it was, I don't think it was the full album, but I think it was Never Too Much by Luther Vandross. Was the first song I actually ever really invested my own money in to say, man, I'm about to go buy this CD at the time. Yeah. And I really want to say it was like an anthology. I don't think it was like the original, the original CD. It was like multiple variation of songs, but Luther is my all-time favorite. So I think really that was the first one that I truly went to the record store and bought, was a Luther CD.
Come on. Never too much, never too much.
Yeah.
Hey. All right, stylist Jerron, who was your first artist, your first song that you went to go purchase with your own money?
Yo, I do not know. That's what's so crazy. I do not remember. I was trying to think hard. I can't remember.
Just say Luther. Just say Luther.
I don't remember. I promise you I don't.
Okay, Pastor Timothy, who was the first artist, the first record that you went to go cop?
I think the very first cassette tape that I bought with my own money, I want to say it was Slick Rick.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that was the Art of Storytelling. That was it for me.
Okay.
I know that in NWA.
Okay. You said that in NWA?
It's
Okay,
one of those two.
cool. Let me, hey, gentlemen, I got to share with you. This is a real story. My first album I remember I bought was in high school, and it was Earth, Wind, and Fire. I went to Walmart and got it on CD because my dad was playing it, and they was like, "Oh, after the love is gone." I was like, "Who are these people?" So I would go get the CD, bro. Earth, Wind, and Fire. We got some Earth, Wind, and Fire fans. I see y'all out there. But yeah, so that's the first question. Music wise. Now the second icebreaker, and then we're gonna get into the more heavier stuff. But the second icebreaker, let's do LeBron James. Oh, I can't do this one. So let's do LeBron James or Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan.
Oh, Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I mean,
Michael Jordan.
Yeah, LeBron is the best. He's the best player of his generation. But Michael Jordan exudes. And I'm a huge Kobe fan.
Yeah.
But Michael Jordan is the greatest. He's a GOAT.
He's a GOAT.
Now LeBron is right there. But MJ, he's a GOAT.
I guess it's on the panel. I thought I was gonna get a little different answers. Don't everybody's Michael Jordan? I'm Michael Jordan too. Yeah, I'm Michael Jordan too. See, this is why you gotta follow these men because the truth lives on the inside. You gotta follow them. Praise God. All right, let's get into some situations. Let me start with there's a hashtag going on that says Black leaders versus leading Blacks. Of course, it was on some other bloggers were talking about it, and we're going to talk about that tonight on Real Talk, guys. Black leaders, they were describing to be people who are actually doing the job description as to be a leader in the Black community. They're actually going out to vote. They're actually sowing back into their communities, all that stuff. Then we have leading Blacks who are aspiring to be a leader, but are not having the totality of what a leader is. Describe to me in your own words, and two people can take this. What has been your inspiration or your drive to be the best leader, especially in this time that you can be?
I would say, I think having daughters and being a Black African American man during this time, I always, any decision I make and anytime I lead, whatever, I always just think about my children to be the best. Not only, and also show my failures too, because I don't want them to grow up in a false world as of thinking like, oh, daddy never made mistakes or daddy never failed. Because I think a great leader, I think why I can run stores and be, a boss or have staff is because I have made mistakes. I have failed and I also learned. So I think that my children, I think that's what probably got me to the point of wanting to lead and be a great example.
I love it. Pastor Tim?
I think, similar to what was just said, I think my daughter, that's obviously a contributing factor. But also understanding that each generation has that leader that sort of leads the culture, leads people to the next place. Leaders do that, and understanding that God gifts all of us unique, and feeling that sort of that mantle, that pressure, that weight to move in that vein. So that's been my push.
Yeah,
that's been my motivation to contribute to this generation everything that I can. And I always tell the church, and I say this even now, that I don't want to be the church or the pastor or the leader, the best leader in my community. I want to be the best leader for my community.
Oh, it's good.
That's been my motivation.
I love it. That's good. Pastor JC?
I think all of us on here are probably girl dads. I've got 3 girls of my own. And I think, honestly, in their eyes is the future. That's what I always say to myself. In them is my future. When I am dead and gone, the hope and prayer is that they will still be here living, affecting change for their communities as adults. And so for me, it can be somewhat of a burden, but as my brother said, always looking within yourself to say, man, how can you be a different father? How can you be a better husband? How can you be a better man? How could you have said that differently? How could you have preached that differently? So for me, the biggest thing is my children, more than anything, have made me more self-reflective than I once was. In
Wow.
every move I make, I'm thinking, okay, Jay, that probably was not the right thing to do. They've also made me more apologetic, being able to go say, hey, I apologize for doing that. I apologize for any slight or whatever the case may be. So they've just opened my eyes up more to set a better example. And that's what kind of buffers me or supports me to be a good leader, is really making sure that I'm checking myself on all cylinders.
I love it. I love it. But I have a question. So maybe you fellas can, of course, you can help me with this. Is there such a thing as a humble leader, a leader who is apologetic, a leader that can always go back and say, I was wrong, blah, 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 without losing clout, without losing being walked over, what is that balance that we can be still accountable to people without being pushovers for people?
I think, oh, go ahead, Tim. Go ahead, Tim.
No. I was going to say, just I think that what defines leadership and what garners respect are leaders that are real, leaders that are transparent, leaders that are humble enough to admit when there are faults.
Yes.
You know, I think that one of the challenges that we have dealt with for so long is that we had leaders that, for instance, me, that exposed me to their wins, but they never showed me their losses. And I think that what really creates an atmosphere for people to actually follow is to say, I'm human. I've had these wins, but I've also had these defeats.
Right.
And that's what prepares the next generation. So I really think that's the tone and tenor again of leadership, that these are my wins, these are my losses.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Anybody want to add to that? That's good.
That's good.
I love it. I love it. So listen, y'all, transparency, what the man is saying, be real. Touch your neighbor, say be real. Be real, because it's so much. I think, and you know what, to be honest, I'm 30 years old, guys. And I think really people my age respond to transparency like never before. Like, there's something about somebody just being straight up with you that you like, oh, okay, I got you. You know?
Yeah, and I think
it's different now.
And I think I learned, I grew up in church, and it just a little, because I know people watching. So I grew up, I was a youth pastor. Got ordained and did all of that. I kind of retired. But I think that growing up, I didn't see real people. I saw that everybody put on this hat, like I'm perfect, nothing is wrong. I sit up here. And I think that now this generation, you have to be real. Even with the social media going on and everything going on, it's like this generation could see through fake. You know what I'm saying? So I like someone who's very humble. I like somebody that when you come in, you don't always have to sit at the front. You could sit in the back, or that you can pick up a plate, that you can vacuum, you can do something like that. Then that's a real leader to me, not someone who just get escorted to the front, get escorted out, and not. It's more about actions than anything.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's so weird to me. That's so good that you said that. Is that a Black culture thing? Or is that just a want to be famous in the church type thing? Like, I understand everybody has positions, right? Everybody has titles, and then we have to respect them. The Bible even speaks of he give prophets, he give teachers, all that stuff, right? But I don't know where the extra comes from sometimes.
Well, and it's not, me personally, my experience is it's not just a Black church thing.
Oh, wow.
I think if you expand, and look at other churches, multicultural churches, predominantly white churches, that's across the board. But I think we see it through the lens of the Black experience, because that's our experience. That's the church we've been in. And so for me, my grandmother used to tell me that the pastor at one point in time, and I think Pastor Finley can attest to this, at one point in our history, the pastor was the leader. He was the guy. So he was worthy of opening his door, getting the first plate, sitting in the front, sitting at the head of the table, because in
Yeah.
my grandmother and my mother's culture,
Yeah.
that was the person. And when you
That's
think
right.
of religious figures like Malcolm X, Dr. Martin Luther King, you think about others of that nature. You think of the position they held in the church and how important and how pivotal that was to some people. Now what we're coming against now, because I don't know if you've noticed all these in the last 10 years or so, you see these documentaries coming out about King's shortcomings and this person's shortcomings, and it damages the reputation of that leader, because for so many years we thought this is Mr. Untouchable. So
Yeah.
now, and that takes nothing away from Dr. King or Malcolm X or anybody. What I'm saying is you have people like these kings, as you say, on this call now that are saying, listen, we are human. We want to be vulnerable to the best of our ability. We want to be transparent. And so I think it takes a culture shift for more pastors to say, I'm just going to sit in the back. You know, my big thing is I will go visit a church and won't tell you I'm coming. I'm just going to go. And so I think the majority of that is a culture shift, that our people have to change their mindset and grow out of not the honor of the pastor, but the idolatry of the pastor. And I think there's two different things there.
I love it. I love it. Oh, y'all talking. Touch your neighbor, hashtag say they talk. The kings is talking. They talking good. We getting the raw uncut. That's what happens when you come on Real Talk. I told them, listen, it's like we all after dinner. We just letting y'all in on our conversation. All right. But we're so glad that you guys are watching. We're so glad you guys are rocking with us. That leads me into my next questioning. Liars in the church. No, that's not really the segment, but it's close to the segment that I'm about to talk about. And what I'm about to say, we're living in a time, this is going to make sense after a while. You just stick with my sermon. We're living in a time where COVID is so, now they're talking about a second wave. They're talking about, you go on CNN, whatever. COVID has not went anywhere. I don't care what somebody done told you. COVID has not went anywhere. It may not go anywhere until the Lord literally releases us. But there has been, allegedly, the Winans family, Kim Burrell, Donnie McClurkin, and there's been two others, I had it written down, that seem to keep secret. Brian Carnes, excuse me. There were some members, allegedly, I have to say it on my shoulder protection, allegedly, even though it's been reported, that have caught COVID, and we're trying to keep it in the church a secret, I guess, because it doesn't look bad on the church. We don't want the church to look bad upon, and that ties into the realness, that ties into the transparency, that ties into the integrity. What is it, Kings, about church folk and why we're trying to keep, we want people to know that we're not really touched by the sickness, but that it really is affecting the world, the church and outside the church. But what is this thing that we have to keep a cover over us so we don't look like that we're affected by what's actually affecting the whole world right now? Any insight? Any questions? Why people won't come out and say, hey, I just, I'm in the church and I got sick and the Lord healed me and I'm back. Is there any reason why people are trying? Is it because to protect their careers? I don't understand what's going on with that.
Well, I don't get that.
I think that a lot of it has to do with a person's stance early on.
Mm-hmm.
So if you denied that this was actually something to be concerned about, something to that was real,
Wow.
I think that now you have to protect that stance and really that foolishness. So to be honest, when you talk about COVID-19 across America, African Americans, Black folk are affected and are dying at 2.5 times the rate of white people. And we're seeing leaders who are exposing what their heart and their motivation really is about how they're handling this particular pandemic. Yeah. So, I won't speak to anyone in particular.
Right.
I'll just say, though, as Black folks, we have to really, really be mindful of what this is all about. Yes. And, if we're going to meet in person as we are, there has to be restrictions. There has to be, it can't just go back to the way that it was. Yeah. And for those who are sort of, perpetuating this false narrative, like the president.
Yes,
I
yes,
think,
great
I
example.
think we have to check what people's motives really are.
Yeah, I love it. Great, great. That's it. Let me add, and let me add to that. Where do we see as pastors, as leaders, business owners? Where do you kings see? Is there? Of course, we're never going back to the norm, right? So, where do you guys see us going when it pertains to gathering? When it pertains to, of course, some people are still gathering. Some people are now. Is virtual? Let me add to that. Is virtual going anywhere, or will we always be virtual now on? Or even if we do get back to normal, has it changed the way we present the church? Has it changed the way we present our business? Any insight about where the future is going for us, or you think the future is going?
Me, I don't really honestly, God, I'm not even trying to be churchy. Like literally, this season, this year has been the best year of my life.
Wow.
God has opened so many doors in the pandemic, opened up a business, people are coming in, everything. All I know how to do is I just wish like we had the great grandmothers save people, you know what I'm saying, who really trusted God. And right now, I mean, I go to church every Sunday. I go to Real Talk Kim Church. We
Wow.
praise God. And I know a lot of people are not going to church, they're doing virtually.
Right.
And that's okay. But I don't know. And I understand, I know God gives us wisdom. I know everybody said, well, he gives you wisdom. But also, I just don't live in the spirit of fear. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that you don't protect yourself, that you don't wear a mask, that you don't do this. I'm just in a season where I literally trust God. And I believe that if he healed people back then, if I get it, not saying that I'm going to walk and do stuff that I don't supposed to do, that he'll heal me again. And I believe that even, I don't know, I just in the season, if, I don't know, man, I feel like this is the best season of my life.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I can attest to that.
And I think ultimately what it boils down to is how are we allowing the narrative of what it means to be worshiping in the building, what that means to individuals? Because, we just went back a couple of Sundays ago. And, when you say we're worshiping in the building, y'all back at church? Y'all back at church? Well, the narrative to most people is we're back in church. We're not social distancing. We're not using hand sanitizer. We're not wearing masks. So most people don't understand, and I know Pastor Tim can attest to this, the links that pastors are taking to make sure that we are safe, even when we're in the building. The fact that we have drastically cut the numbers of individuals down, and it's not because of the state mandate, it's because we are just trying to follow what's best for our congregations. So my biggest concern, I think, for me, is making sure we're not feeding into a false narrative, like my brother said, not living by this spirit of fear,
Right.
but also realizing that when the doors of the church do open back up, it's not going to be the normal. We can't do the same thing that we've always been doing. We've got to do something different. And now what I think the floodgates has opened us up to is the fact that and I don't feel any kind of way about it. I think it's actually good. People are going to get comfortable being virtual.
Yeah.
They're going to get comfortable watching us from home because what they're going to do is they're going to they might watch Tim at 9 a.m. or whatever time Tim service is, and then say, well, let me check JC out too. And that to me is going to be the new normal. Do I think our churches will die out or anything like that? Absolutely not. But I do think you will begin to see that the virtual churches that we've had and forward-thinking pastors who are already live streaming before the virus, you'll begin to see the numbers increase for our Wednesday night Bible studies, our Sunday services, special services that we have for virtual church. In fact, and I'm saying when this virus is gone and we are back to what we consider normal, you will get more requests from individuals. Hey, Pastor Tim, I know, is the anniversary service going to be streamed? Because we've got so used to streaming now. Pastor Tim, I'm working that third shift, but can I catch Wednesday night Bible study? So I think that's what the big difference is. You're going to see a lot more requests to stream the service and make that available to our members that probably was not done efficiently or wide stream in the past.
I love it.
Well, I had a question. sorry to interrupt. I know this is your show, but I had a question for the pastors.
Go ahead.
My question is, I don't know if y'all having church service or not. My thing is, if like we could go to Walmart, and not saying I'm not trying to be churchy. If we go to Walmart, my mall that I have a business in is packed all day. If we go to the mall, we could do all these things. Why can't we gather in church? Because I feel like to me, church is a hospital, and I feel like even when I'm going through during the week, when I'm drained, you know what I'm saying, as being a father, being a business owner, dealing with other stuff. When I go to church, man, when I leave, if it ever changed me, yeah, you can watch it online, but I can't watch it online. It don't do nothing for me. I tried to for the first 4 months when church wasn't open, for real, for real. So why can't we gather in a place? I don't know if y'all started yet or y'all got your churches open, but what is y'all take on it? Why is the congregations not coming together? Because to me, I feel like a lot of them are not coming together because of what people might think or what they might say.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, like when I go in church, they take take the temperature. Then, you know, they have it out, etc. So I just want to know what was the take on it.
Well, churches are back. Many churches are back, and many are closed. For instance, I think myself, JC, if I'm hearing him right, we are back, and we're taking the right precautions. But I think what we're doing is we're allowing those who may not feel comfortable coming back the ability to stream and not make them feel bad for doing so.
Yeah.
So, for instance, at Kingdom in Louisville, you know, people are coming back. We're having crowds there. We've done certain precautions. We've reduced our seating capacity on the floor, but we also have a large contingency that is still online.
Right.
And what I've committed to doing is not speaking against those who are deciding that I want to stay online. I think that in this pandemic, as we're seeing right now in the country, numbers are rising. There's a surge, and there's some things we can argue with, some things that are just it's factual.
Right.
But I feel right now, let's continue having our in-person service. We're having great services in person. But for those who want to continue online, that's absolutely okay. And we'll just continue we'll cater to both crowds, both the in-person and the online. And I think that's where leadership has to go, that we can't get to a point to where it's one or the other. It's both and that's sort of that's the approach that I'm taking.
Yeah, and I think it's very similar. You know, one of the biggest concerns for me, Jerron, was at the Hope, we actually had a very well-known member pass away and had contracted COVID, and you know, her children contracted COVID as well. And so what we've kind of been doing is taking those necessary precautions, making sure we're scanning you, making sure we have hand sanitizer across the building, making sure everyone wears masks. But ultimately, again, it boils down to the leadership of the church and what people are comfortable with. Now, most of the time, when people say, well, Pastor, I'm not going to come back because I heard y'all not wearing masks. Well, that's something factual that we can fact check and say, well, no, sister, everyone is required to have a mask. Even I wear a mask before I get up and preach. So everyone has a mask. But there, as Pastor Tim said, there are just some people that are really uncomfortable. And I think that goes back to, you know, the increasing numbers, what we're hearing from the media, the guilt trip that some people do put others on. This war that we've been waging about, is it in person or is it virtual? And nobody's going to tell me to shut my church, and I'm not going to put my church in harm's way, so I'm going to do all virtual. So I think what it ultimately boils down to is what's best, because I can't tell you what's best for Kingdom Fellowship. Only Tim is the individual appointed to tell you what's best. And I think I can tell you what's best for the Hope. And I think that's going to determine. I mean, I know some pastors that want to be back, but they are overwhelmingly, the majority of their congregation is over the age of 65. And they're concerned about the health of those seniors. So I think that's an excellent question. And I get what you're saying, brothers. You do not, I think we're going to Walmart, we're going to work, We go into restaurants now. We go to clubs. We go. Everything's open now, so we going. So
wide open. We wide open down here.
We wide. I get where you're going. I understand totally. So why can't we go into the church house? And I think Tim and I can be the voice that say, listen, you know, we want to make it to where you feel comfortable to worship in person. Here are the steps that we're taking, but we also are no fools. And we know there are going to be some people, and Tim, you can back me up. Pastor, I ain't coming until there's a vaccine. Or Pastor, I ain't coming until I feel comfortable. And that's unfortunate. That's just how it is.
I love it. I love it. This is touch your neighbor and say this is good dialogue. I'm telling you, man, this is dialogue. I love the concept of my show God has given me, because it's not just a host asking questions. No, we're having a conversation. My panel, we asking each other questions, because these are the things that people need to hear to be encouraged, to have an understanding. All of this stuff applies for that. Thank you, gentlemen, for that. Before we go into our next segment, let me say this now. I am a church hopper now because of virtual. I get up and I attend. No, this is real talk. I attend All Nations. I'll go to Pastor J.C. New Hope. I even look at Pastor Tim's church. And then I'll go to my church. Shout out to my pastor, Overseer Ed Thomas. Our bishop is Hezekiah Walker. Love Fellowship Atlanta. I'll go there at 4:00. But in the morning time, I'll be church hopping. So y'all take your blessings while you can take your blessings. Because they used to talk about you if you were showing up in person to everybody's church. Now you can do it virtually. Praise ye the Lord. But sow your tithes now. Don't be now. Sow to the house that feeds you. Oh, praise God. All right. Listen, so let's go into our next segment. And this ties into and thank you, Kings, for your answers. This has been great so far. And we got 2 more seconds, and then I'm letting these fellas go. Before I move on, let me mention, Pastor Timothy, you gotta tell us about this documentary that you are in the process of making. I turn the mic over to you to explain this thing.
Yeah. So I was contacted several weeks ago by Vice Media about doing a documentary, well, being a part of the documentary that they're putting on, where they're going to be detailing where faith and politics intersect.
Yeah.
So went back and forth about, some logistical things and got everything worked out. And they've been all day today, and for the next 3 days, will be following me around. They actually sent a crew down here, and they touched down. Flight came into Louisville today, and they've been doing that. We actually have we're calling this vote, Our Vote Now weekend at Kingdom. So tonight we had an education symposium and had politicians, public personalities, things of that nature. I had a whole symposium there. Tomorrow we're having a night of inspiration outdoors at one of the local parks. Saturday, we're going to be doing a actual voter rally. Okay. And then, of course, Sunday we'll be in church. And their crew is following me around for everything. I've been mic'd up all day. And sometime in the near future, I want to say late November, early December, they'll be premiering this documentary that'll be shown nationwide. That'll be featuring myself and our efforts around this particular election. So it's been a cool situation. A little different. When you're out and people are wondering what's going on, and you got this camera crew around you, but
real reality TV-ish. Yeah.
It is, but I've been very careful about what. Because as I told them, when all this is said and done, I still have to pastor in this city.
Come on.
So I don't want to do anything that would compromise that. So, yeah, it's been cool.
Now, Pastor Tim, you got to make here right now on this show, you got to make me a promise that when you blow up big, and you on CNN every 5 days of the week, you go come back to Real Talk. And we'll be able to talk to you. You got to make us a promise, okay?
Listen. That's one of those things that I think when you're in this assignment, there's some things you think you want, and then you get into it and you find out it may not be what you really want.
Right.
So I'm thankful just to pastor the church that I pastor. I think it's a wonderful. I love what I do. And that's about as far as I'm weighing some political aspirations, maybe.
Yeah.
But even with that, I'm not trying to go Hollywood at all.
He's so politically correct. His answer is yes. He'll be back. He'll be back on the show. Listen, now let's get into this because we're getting ready to talk about voting kings. We're getting ready to talk about some celebrities that we didn't even know that wasn't voting until they now. I'm telling you, the Lord has a way of revealing some things at the time it's needed. Because why are these people just coming out saying that they're not voting? They haven't voted ever. I don't know why, but it's coming out now. We're going to talk about it. But before we talk about it, we got to talk about being arrested on the front lines. Now, Pastor Tim, I won't put you on blast, but you got to. This is a real man-to-man conversation. Tell us about this experience, man. Like fighting for, this is some real civil rights movement. But just in our generation now, how was this? Just a little bit about that experience of fighting for what you were fighting for, and then what happened.
Yeah, and I've been arrested a couple times, and to be completely honest,
that's good trouble. John
yeah, it's
Lewis
good
said,
trouble.
"Make good
It's
trouble."
good trouble. Yeah. Here in Louisville, one of the things that we've been protesting and really fighting against, on a larger scale, is our criminal justice system, but specifically our police department has just operated in a way that has just been excessively brutal, and we've seen that brutality. It's met nonviolent, peaceful protesters. So, as a leader in this city, as one that feels like you should practice what you preach,
Yes,
being on that front line, it has put me in sort of like the direct line of our police department, and that's been the result. But the truth is, just following the footsteps of a civil rights leader, Dr. King, looking at those individuals who, to be completely honest, I haven't even, touched what, Dr. King was arrested 60 plus times in his life. I don't have that. I don't have those aspirations. But I'll say that sometimes as leaders, especially spiritual leaders, we have to come out of the pulpit. We have to come out of the church. And we have to stand with the oppressed. We have to stand with the disenfranchised. We have to stand with those who we are fighting, for justice for. And that'll put you in the direct line for the kind of actions that have happened to me over the summer. But the truth is, I have benefited and not had to face certain things simply because I have a name in the city. The truth is, there's a lot of people that don't have that benefit. So I want to make sure that while I was arrested and charged, and then charges dropped, that I bring attention to the fact that there are a lot of people that don't have that privilege, and it's my responsibility to bring attention to that.
Did you ever see Portia Williams when y'all was both passing?
Absolutely, her and
Portia
Yandy.
Williams, listen, she was for the cause. You hear me?
Yeah, Portia, Yandy, Tamika, and it's good to with Until Freedom, making those connections and be in their family. People are down for that. They're down for the cause, and they're about justice for Brianna and beyond.
I love it. I love it. Let's switch gears. We got one more topic, and then we're gonna pray this thing out. We gotta leave with some encouragement, some spirituality. But Pastor JC, Stylist Jerron, I think he's still on here. He may be back, and of course Pastor Timothy. I've enjoyed these fellas. Listen, we got to talk about Ice Cube allegedly, Shaquille O'Neal allegedly, and I think that was the only two that I heard of, have now come out. Ice Cube is another situation, but Shaquille O'Neal has come out saying that he has not voted yet. I believe Ice Cube as well, allegedly, has said they have not voted. Now, these are big mega superstars that we look up to. We watch their movies, we watch their games. and they have not ever voted. I believe that's what they're trying to say. That allegedly they have not ever participated in the voting. Gentlemen, what is our stance? How do we even process that? How do we even make that make sense to people who we are urging every day to make a difference?
I think it's just not them. It's millions of Americans who have not voted and who haven't voted, but that's want to vote now. You know what I'm saying? So I do like, dang, wow, you're supposed to be a leader. You're supposed to be this mega star. You're supposed to be entertainment, and you have not voted. But when you think about it, millions of people who don't vote.
Right.
Now that Trump has gotten to office, so now everybody going to the polls.
Yeah.
So that's my stance on it.
I love it. Anyone else? How do we even make sense of, like, how do you even miss that not to vote? Like, how's that mindset even processed?
I remember there's a famous line in the Black Panther movie where Killmonger, as he's beating the Black Panther, he says, "Is this your king?" I think in our culture, it's time for us to ask the question of some of our celebrities, is this your king? Because we have people who, and I'm not just talking about Shaq or Ice Cube, I'm just saying in general, we have deified and put people on a platform that they haven't necessarily earned.
That's correct.
Because you are a great actor or a great basketball player or a great musician, it doesn't mean that you are somehow qualified to lead in certain areas. So to hear that Shaq has never voted until a few years ago, it doesn't necessarily move me because I don't look to. It's sort of like Dave Chappelle when he did he did a stand-up routine, and he talked about after 9/11, and he was trying to find some words of comfort, and he turned on MTV, and MTV was like, "Hey, let's find out what I think it was what Kanye has to say."
Right.
And he was like, "Why are we going to Kanye? I need somebody that, you know." And I think in celebrity-driven culture, we often look to popular people, and we confuse popularity with social consciousness. And we have to be very, very careful doing that. So the truth is, you know, I can speak for here in Louisville, Kentucky. If we had a different attorney general, we may have seen justice for Breonna Taylor.
Amen.
But we put our vote put someone in office. So for people to say, like Ice Cube, that the vote doesn't matter, I fundamentally disagree with that. Don't get me wrong. I understand the whole picking between two evils and all that kind of stuff. But as my mentor says, you talk about Republicans and Democrats. Democrats will hang you tomorrow. Republicans will shoot you in the head tonight. Which one gives you the most time? So, you know, I understand. I have family members that disagree with voting. They disagree, and I go back and forth and talk about it, and I understand. But I just choose to believe that if my ancestors died for this, then I'm gonna move in this way. If people decide they don't want to vote, you know, I'm gonna respect your decision. I'm gonna disagree.
Yeah,
I'm gonna respect it, and you know, and do my part in trying to rally people to actually vote. Yeah. So
I love it, Pastor JC. Spiritually, let's take it now to a spiritual way. Of course, is it a mindset? Of course, you know, we talk about the church, let this mind be in you that's also in Christ Jesus, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Is this because when he brought up, if we had a different attorney general, is that what that's the position, right? Because this attorney looked just like us, amen? So is it a mindset? Is it I know it's systemic, we talk about systemic racism, but on a spiritual side, how do we cope and how do we pray against what is our stance when it comes to systemic racism, when it comes to people not feeling like they have to go and because like you said, whatever's going to happen is going to happen. I don't need to be. What is the mindset of that, and how do we combat it spiritually?
Well, it takes the onus off of us to actually go and do something. And then when the outcome is not what we want it to be, we go in our prayer closet and blame God for not making it the person we wanted it to be.
Wow.
I just personally believe it. I fundamentally believe that voting is important. I believe that my vote matters. Now, there are some people out there that do not believe that, but it takes our conversation back full circle. Do we want Black leaders or leading Blacks? And I think we have to be cautious of the fact that just because, well, let me be real, all skin folk ain't kinfolk. Is that what we say?
For sure.
So I think we have to understand that when and I used to be bad at this. I'm not going to even sit up here and act like I am so pious and I've always been perfect. I used to say, I remember when Barack Obama was running, and I said to myself, oh, he's Black, I'm voting for him. And somebody had to check me and say, well, what are his policies now? What do you know about him? What do you understand about him? How do you see his policies and the decision making he's done, and how will that affect the country and the world? And so ultimately, it's made me a more conscious voter. It's made me say, okay, well, let me go back and look and see what they stand for, what they're about. I think people are lazy, and I know they don't want to hear that, but I think there are some people that don't want to do the legwork. We pray, God give us the right candidate, God bring, and God will provide. But I think we're missing a piece of our prayer, and that is, God, give me the wisdom to choose who you would have in this season. And that's kind of been my prayer. Lord, give me the wisdom to see past the fluff, to see past the politics, and to be able to just flat foot say, okay, this is why I'm voting for this person. This is what this person is about. As a pastor, I know Tim can attest to this. There are some politicians that will only come to Kingdom Fellowship when it's time to vote.
Of course. Yeah.
So where are those politicians that say, Pastor Tim, it's not an election year. How can I help Kingdom Fellowship? What can I do to be a better leader? Assessing themselves. So I think for me, I'm honestly with Tim. I'm not. If Ice Cube didn't vote, or if this person didn't vote, I'm really unbothered by it. I think that is their lack of maturity and wisdom, and the fact that cannot be the end all be all of what we look to. But I think honestly, on a spiritual level, praying and asking God for wisdom, and really remembering that in us as human beings is the power to make change, is the power to do something different. We are the ambassadors for Christ. I think most of us have truly forgotten that ambassadorship. And so we just say, it is what it is. My vote don't matter. I ain't gonna waste my time. And ultimately, you fulfill your own prophecy because you do not vote. And ultimately, it is what it is because you didn't do what you were supposed to do. That's just my take.
I love it. Jay, you got anything to add to this whole voting? Listen, I can talk to these fellas all night, but of course I gotta let them go. We're gonna go with some closing words. We're gonna find out what they got coming up next and all that good stuff. But Jay, you got anything to add to this voting and just encouraging the people to vote?
I just say, in order to be a leader, you have to vote and you have to stand for something. Because I'm not just voting just because I'm like, I want Trump out of the office, but I'm also voting showing my kids that I have a right to vote, to be a Black African-American man, to be able to vote. Because I have a brother that can't vote who is in prison. I have a mama who just got out of prison that can't vote. So I have all these people that's in my family that can't even vote. So I think that as being a leader and also, and I'm voting. But guess what? But the ultimate thing is, man, I'm not even trying to be deep. I don't even though I'm voting, I don't put my everything into their hands, because I put my trust in God. That's me. That's how I roll. I'm not trying to be over like this Christian man and try to say this, and so churchy. I'm dead serious. I'm the guy, man. Everybody who watching, even my people on Facebook, everybody will tell you, I'm the guy who would jump off the window and wherever I land, I land. But I know God got me. So that's my whole thing, or the whole thing. Like, I just trust God. Yeah, I'm going to vote. I'm going to do the right thing, but I trust him because at the end of the day, he's the one who's going to decide to wake me up in the morning. He's the one going to say if he want to shut the world down again for 30 days, he the one going to do all of that. You see what I'm saying?
Right. I love it. I love it. Trust in God. Lean
Yes.
not into that
To your
own
own
understanding.
understanding.
My God. But in all that, I got to finish that thing. But in all that ways, acknowledge
Him.
him, and he
Yep.
surely will. This ain't what we heard. This is what we know. He's
Yep.
going to direct your path. Okay, I love it. Listen, I can talk to these fellas. Thank you so much for being on the. Listen, y'all
Thank
on
you.
the first episode of season 4 of
Honored.
Real Talk, and
Honored.
I've had some
Thank you.
guests, but I've enjoyed. I hope I can come to their area, come to their store, come to their church, and we can do a Real Talk special live. Let's do this thing, y'all, because I really enjoy this dialogue. I got one closing question, and then I want you guys to speak to the people. Any closing remarks? Of course, we realize not to bring a somber spirit, but we realize that people are still losing their lives. Family members are still dying. People are still going through financial things. Now, let me say this on the flip side, like stylist Jerron said, and I can attest to that. God has a way, I'm telling you, of turning some. He'll make what the Bible says, he'll make the foolish thing or whatever. He has a way of just, because this has been one of the best years of my life in a pandemic.
Yeah.
And I'm looking around and I'm just seeing things, and I'm not doing this to boast or brag, but I am learning how to rejoice in the things that happen good for me. Yeah. And not allow people to make me feel like I can't rejoice in the good things that happen, because bad things are going to happen, okay? But it's okay to rejoice in what God is doing good for your life, amen? So but I want to say this, and I'm going to get into our closing remarks that we have to our people who are going through a year, whether it be the best year or the worst year, whatever. We're just going to leave some closing remarks for you, and then we're going to find out what's coming up next for these great men of God, and then we out of here. But I got one closing question, and I want to start with Pastor Timothy. Pastor Timothy, who do you love and why do you love him?
Well, I won't take the obvious answer. That's God, because of course. But I'll say my daughter Kendall, because I think that she's doing a fantastic job in her second year at Western Kentucky.
Shout out to Kendall.
Yeah, Kendall Finley, and I'm excited to see her this weekend. She's coming in town because we're shooting a family portion for this documentary. So I'm glad that I got something that can woo her back into the city, and I can actually see her. And I knew she'd show up for TV.
Oh yeah, Kendall coming for the TV. She coming.
Not for me.
Don't do
Not
Kendall
for me,
like that.
but I'm gonna be glad to see her for sure.
Yeah.
Also, we send love to Kendall Finley. Go, the sky's the limit. From Real Talk with your boy Noland Pruitt. We love you, Pastor JC. Who do you love and why do you love them?
My 4 women, my wife, my queen Nisha, and my 3 girls, Victoria, Valerie, and Vanessa. And I love them because they remind me every day that I'm not all that I think that I am. And they ground me and they keep me sane. And they love on me even when the rest of the world does not.
Wow. I love it. Yeah, but it made me cry.
Oh. So here you go, man.
Stylist to the celebrity stylist himself. Who do you love, man, and why you love him?
I think the obvious. I love my children because there was a time in my life, even when I was going through divorce and when life I felt like coming all down. My children remind me every day that even when I feel my worst, man, they would just say some things to me like, "Dad, I love you. You the best dad." And they just will remind me at times where I probably don't feel like I'm doing the best or I had a horrible day. And a FaceTime will come through and they just tell me something that just brighten my day up. And they push me to be the best me. And that's why I love them.
I love it. Let's go ahead. Listen, I hope you guys are blessed. I want you guys to see that these are powerful men of God. They are leaders, but they are down to earth. They love just like you love. They hurt just like you hurt. And do me a favor, if you're watching all these people, let's keep these men lifted in prayer. Let's intercede on their behalf. Of course, God ain't gonna answer no foolishness anyway. But if you know, so I hope your prayers are some good prayers. All right, so let's keep them covered. Because they're on the path just like we are, but they are our leaders, amen. In business, spiritually, they are the men that we look to. So, Jerron, go ahead and close us out. I need you to speak to the people, encourage them, and then tell us what you got coming up next so we can look forward to it.
Oh, so what I got coming up next, what I can say. So I want to open up another store. I'm thinking about going to Charlotte. That's my whole goal, is to open up another store. I just want to tell people, man, to stay in the race and don't give up. Um, I was a child, mother was in and out of prison, dad was on drugs, been molested. I've been through everything you could think about. I was supposed to be probably locked up in jail and prison, and I just say, don't give up. I'm 32 years old, and God has favored my life, and just stay in the race. And I hate one thing I don't like and I'm not saying I don't like it. A lot of people say, "Oh, I look up to you. You're a gold." I'm not gold, man. I'm just a human being and just riding on grace. And I just said, man, just forgive whoever that hurt you, whoever molested you, whoever broke your heart, and just forgive them. And learn that everything that you ever been through in life, it all work together. When the Bible say all things work together, and I think the bad work together, the good work together, and just keep going and don't give up on you.
Yes, sir. I love it. Pastor JC.
Yeah, again, thank you so much for having me. Some of the things that New Hope is doing, we're feeding our community. We fed 1,000 last year. We want to feed 2,000 this year. So we want to work on feeding our community. We want to work on clothing our community with our clothes giveaway, our winter coat giveaway, and we want to get out of the four walls and do more outreach, providing fresh foods for our community. And so that's what we're doing. It can't be business and ministry as usual. And my final thought would be the kingdom of God is not a matter of talk, but one of power. And so we have to love in power and give in power and serve in power, stay strong, know that God is still on the throne. God is faithful. We will make it through this. And if you're in Louisville and you need a church home, go visit Kingdom Fellowship.
For sure. I love it, Pastor JC. Pastor Timothy coming, bringing us on home.
I echo both brothers. I would just say, final thought: pray more, read more, laugh more. That would be my thought for everybody. And there's a lot coming up. Check out our social media, and we're looking forward to doing all that God has placed in front of us. But pray more, read more, laugh more, enjoy every day.
That's right.
The one thing you can't get back is time.
That's right.
So make every day count. And we're looking forward to what the rest of this quarter is going to bring.
That's right. Listen, I know these guys are pastors. These guys are business pastors. But I hope I can just be their little brother, the little mentee. I can grow and glean for these men. This is real talk, for real. I hope that you guys keep me in prayer as well. Listen, I've enjoyed tonight. I hope you've enjoyed tonight. Go back and watch this if you have missed this. I got to let these gentlemen go. But I just be encouraged. My last words, be encouraged. Stay in the race. Live more. Laugh more. And if you're ever in Louisville, go visit Kingdom Fellowship.
That's right.
I'm the collective of everybody. We love you. We're out of here. Until next time, please support Real Talk, support their ministries. And do me a favor too. Find out we're going to pin their cash apps. If you feel led, send a blessing to what they're doing. Go support their stylist Jerron's online shopping. Pastor Timothy and Pastor JC, do it. Tell them Noland Pruitt sent you. All right, go support, and we get you guys cash apps up there as well. All right, we love y'all. Good night.
Thank you.
God bless you.
Thank you.
Love y'all, man.
All right, love you guys.